Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo. We're gonna have a bit of a discussion today regarding competitive play and how I feel things kind of change when we talk about competitive gameplay experiences. It could be in FPSs, RTSs, whatever you grew up playing. You know, how your sort of mentality, your mindset, and your approach changes as you get older. Hopefully, how it changes as you get older. I know some people sort of, they stay them 14-year-old self, and everybody else is at fault except themselves, and that's definitely not the way you want to be in a competitive scenario ever. But I would hope that many of us sort of have grown out of that as we've gotten older, and I think that there's actually potential for you to be more efficient or more effective at, you know, your older age level. I say older, you know, 25, 26, however old you might be, because some of the positives of that more relaxed, you know, sort of, I guess, wise, maybe patient mindset that you might have now compared to what you might have had when you were, you know, 14 playing Halo, or, you know, 12 playing Counter-Strike or SC, or, you know, whatever it might have been. Now, this was a discussion spurred on by me, actually, myself. I spurred it on for myself while playing some Halo 5 Guardians for the first time in about 5 months. I hadn't really stepped into Halo in a while, especially Arena, you know, and played in a more competitive setting. So the first match that you guys are seeing is that very first game that I had this past Sunday. And the thing I kept saying to myself out loud was, I used to be good at Halo because I was just absolutely awful. I was just sucking beyond belief, you know, absolutely annihilated. Eventually, though, things started to ramp up. I got my muscle memory back, and I've got some solid SWAT matches to share with you guys later on in the video. But it brought up, you know, that sort of level of discussion that I then wanted to have, because I think the typical trend is that as you get older, you know, you have less time to play these games. You end up being, you know, less skilled. You're not as good of a player as you once were, simply because you can't put in the time. And I agree with that for the most part. You know, obviously time and the amount of time that you have to dedicate to playing something like, you know, Halo or StarCraft is a really important part of being really good at those games. You know, if you want to remain highly competitive in any of these experiences, you definitely have to play regularly. But when we talk about the more casual approach, the person who plays, you know, once a month or on the weekends or something like that, I think there are massive benefits to be reaped from having that more relaxed mindset, you know, from going into the game, being able to look at your own mistakes, your own errors, and learn from those, and just having a more open mind to playing the game for the sake of fun. I think there are massive benefits to that approach. You know, and the big thing is when you talk about, you know, serious professional Halo players and StarCraft players, for the most part, you know, these are people who get frustrated with themselves. They get frustrated because of the mistakes that they've made on a personal level, or that their team, you know, made on a personal level. It's not about blaming the game or blaming, you know, things that are out of their control. I think that's the big problem that a lot of us have when we're younger. You know I played with a handful of people who were all about, it's the game's fault. You know, and those people never were as good as those of us who were able to understand that it's my fault. How do I improve as an individual? And I think the big thing as you get older, especially when we talk solo queuing in something like Halo, is that you recognize what you can and can't control. So I'm fully aware that I'm never going to be able to alter my team's positioning or, you know, change the way in which my team covers my back if I'm playing with a group of randoms in Slayer Arena. So what do I need to do? Well, my older self, you know, rather than just getting pissed off and frustrated with those people and doing nothing, recognizes that I can change my play style. I can change the way I navigate the map. I can, you know, try and control different areas of the map that leave myself less exposed. You know, I basically play to my strengths to counter the weaknesses of the way that my team might be performing as a whole. Something that I probably wouldn't have done in my younger age. I admit there's definitely a point in time back in the days of Halo 2 when I would solo queue where I would just, it was the team's fault. It was, you know, it was everyone else's fault but mine. Like, you know, it was this guy and that guy's fault, and I wouldn't really do anything about it other than continue to complain about the issue. So I think that's, like, you know, that's one of those huge strong points. You know, as you get older, you're playing the game hopefully more for the sake of fun. And like I said, there's a lot of positive side effects that come from that ability to really learn from your weaknesses and to do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're having fun as an individual. The biggest thing for me when we talk about these competitive experiences is that I'm no longer at a point in my life where I feel the need to impress, like, other people in the lobby, people around me. all I really care about is impressing myself. If I can go out into Halo and I can boot up SWAT nubs or, you know, get into a match of Slayer Arena or even Big Team Battle, and I can have fun as an individual, and I can feel like I'm doing what I need to do to correct my personal errors, to play to the best of my ability, to get my reaction times where I know they're at their best, then I'm happy. You know, it's all about pleasing myself. You know, if I can do that, then I'm going to walk away being happy that I decided to play Halo that day. And I think that's the big approach that I really want to push on other people, because I still see so many people, you know, who aren't playing these games in this crazy competitive environment. They're playing them on the weekend with their friends for fun, and they just take it. It's not that they take it too seriously, because I feel that I still take Halo seriously, but it's that they go about it taking it seriously in the wrong way. They're so caught up, you know, in their frustrations that it's the game's fault and it's everyone on their team's fault. They completely forget to look at their own personal skill level, the issues with their own personal, their own personal skill. Like, where am I at fault? You know, where do I need to improve? As I've gotten older, that's become a big part of playing competitive games for me. It's just about self-improvement. And I think in a lot of ways, I'm a better Halo player, or at least I have the potential, if I was able to put in more hours, to be a far better Halo player than I ever was when I was 14, putting in, 6-7 hours a day in Halo 2. Because that mindset is just there for me. You know, I'm so much more relaxed. I'm so much more willing to look at my faults and my errors and to improve upon those errors. That's really what I think you need to make it about. You need to make it about the individual. Stop worrying so much about what everyone else is doing. Tune into your own, your own skill. Like, tune into yourself. Look at your own replays. Look into your memory and think about what you just did in the last 10 seconds. Why did I get the end result that I got? What did I do wrong? If you look at games that way, and you sort of turn off that unnecessary competitive switch and you play for fun, you'll probably end up, finding that point of zen, that competitive zen. It's like you're this, this own personal level of Gandhi inside of video games for yourself, like where you're playing for personal satisfaction and for enjoyment. I just want to see more people find that for themselves. As I've gotten older, I have people around me who have found that, and I have people around me who haven't really found that point of zen, and I feel frustrated for them because I know that they're spending, 6 hours a week maybe in their, their very small amounts of free time playing something like Overwatch, playing something like Halo or Counter-Strike or StarCraft or Dota or League of Legends, whatever, and they're just getting frustrated and they're not adapting. They're not improving as an individual anymore because that frustration has now become this sort of infinite barrier for them, this barrier that only they can turn off. So ask yourself if you're in that position. Really ask yourself that question. Look at the scenario that I've just put before you and discover whether or not you're in that position. And if you are, do what you need to do to make the changes, to find that place of zen, to recognize that your primary objective for playing, these competitive games should be to please yourself as an individual and to improve upon your skills, and most importantly, to have a good time while you do it all. So there you have it, guys. A bit of a zen competitive discussion with me. I'm actually really excited to be back into Halo every now and then. It's not something I have a lot of time to play, but, as you can see from the SWAT match, slowly starting to get back into the flow of things. Dealing with, just setting up new sensitivity settings, trying to get some of that muscle memory back. Halo 5 is still one of my all-time favorite Halos. I'm so happy that I can just, boot this up and play it on my Xbox One, that it exists, because to me, it's right up there with Halo 2. I constantly feel like I'm tested as an individual. I can hop into SWAT. I can have a hell of a lot of fun. They've added a lot of awesome remakes of old maps, like, Sand Trap, and got lots of great stuff from Halo 3 and Halo 2. Just an awesome time to get back into Halo if you're a fan of the franchise. Thank you guys so much for watching. Share your sort of perspective and your stories with me. If you're someone who was once in that sort of that empty, that never-ending hole of frustration where it was everyone else's fault, you were never able to come to terms with your own personal faults and issues. How did you get out of that? When did you get out of that? Are you still maybe there? And has this video in some ways helped you recognize where you need to go moving forward to improve as an individual and to reach that point of zen in these competitive games, to get to the point where you're actually having fun? One of my favorite things to do, in terms of improving myself as an individual, is to make vocal callouts to myself when I make an error. So, you know, if I miss a shot, or if I'm, you know, gripping the controller too hard, if any small error that I might make subconsciously that would prevent me from being as good as I can, I'll make a call out on that. I'll be like, oh, I got sloppy with the joystick. I'm gripping the controller too tight. I missed that jump. You know, those are fun ways, I think, to make mental notes for yourself that allow you to make a correction the next time that same issue comes up a little bit more easily. The other big thing, have a laugh. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at your failures. Laugh at that time where you jumped clean off that cliff on Coliseum because your jump game was just so far off point. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share your thoughts with me down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.